Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. My name is Canute, and today I'll be deconstructing a mix by Ryan Berry, a song called Speak Peace. Let's go into it. So let's jump right into it. We'll talk about Ryan's vocals in a little bit, but let's play the vocals with effects. Here we go.
You are wondering what is going on. Well, the pressures of life make it seem so hard. The little bit of money used to carry go grocery can't stretch again. And to make the matters worse, you have just lost your job. Well, I speak peace into the midst of your storm, even though you're going through your struggles. Speak peace into the midst of your storm today.
All right, let's play the vocals with no effects. Here we go. Here it is.
You are wondering what is going on. Well, the pressures of life make it seem so hard. The little bit of money used to carry go grocery can't stretch again. And to make the matters worse, you have just lost your job. Well, I speak peace into the midst of your storm, even though you're going through your struggles. Speak peace into the midst of your storm today. Well, I speak peace into the midst of your storm.
All right. Let's jump into EQ. This is what I have on here. I have a high pass at 100 hertz, and then pulling out 150, about 1.5 dB, right? A DSR on there, a compressor on there, and this one's not doing much, but my parallel comp, that is doing plenty. And that's to add some more presence and just to bring up the floor, all right? And obviously the reverb. Let's jump into what's going on here. All right, Renaissance reverb, and it's 1.6 milliseconds with size time of about 60, all right? And let's do the BVGs. Now, the BVGs have more size time and, more decay time, just because I wanted it to be a bigger space, all right? And so there is a few process on there, and we're high passing at the same 100 hertz on all the BVGs, and a DSR on there, and I'm using the Bluey on these. All right, so let's play the same section again with the ska section. Here we go.
You are wondering what is going on. Well, the pressures of life make it seem so hard. The little bit of money used to carry go grocery can't stretch again. And to make the matters worse, you have just lost your job. Well, I speak peace into the midst of your storm.
Let's do the guitar. Let's see where it is. Right.
It is going.
Let's hurry and find where that plays. It's in a dub state right now. Here we go. Let's bypass it. So on the EQ, I pass it at 80 hertz. And pulling a good chunk out of 170. This is the effects on the reverb, bypass. Now, the guitarist had an effect on there while recording. Usually I'd fuss about it. And, I said, why? I I don't need to because it's within context of what the song is. It's kind of have this retro feel. And back in the day, they didn't have a lot of effects units on consoles, and even if they had, it was already allocated for the vocals and whatever else. So I kind of kept it as is and just add a few. The tube delay is one that's on here. And if you notice my effects rack on here, there's not plenty. I literally have probably like six or so, right? And back in the day, again, in the early 60s, 70s, and probably first part of 80s, most studios on the island and in the Caribbean only had a few effects rack, probably one spring reverb, a delay unit, and something else. And they made do with what it is. And even though this song has a lot of tracks, we never had a lot of tracks back in the day. It's either was 16 or 24. 32 was a luxury. So the approach for this was really to get this nostalgic feel and to keep it simple. As you could see, my effects aren't going crazy. One of my favorite part of this song is this keyboard here. It's simple but very effective. It's something that you hear, or something that you feel rather, and not hear. And as you can see, if I bypass it, it's not much. I'm just adding some air on there. While I'm here, let's do the bass. I simply just have this one EQ on here. Bypass. So this bass guitar is joy to work with. It's probably one of the fullest bass I've had in a while. It has a good spectrum of high, mids, and lows, and it punches deep, but it gives you the presence. And I didn't have to go searching for the notes, and I didn't have to go searching for the weight. Let's play the bass guitar, same spot with the bass drum. Here we go. EQ on the bass, drum that is. So I'm pushing 70 hertz on there, and I'm getting up in upper register to get the notes. And I had another EQ just to add some more. Let's hear the drum and bass. So let's hear the full rhythm section with all the processing. Here we go.
depression take you over. Stress you out until you get marker. But I've got news for you. You must cast all your cares on Christ. He will never leave you, neither forsake you.
Now, if you notice, there's a section in there, or a couple sections in there, that the drums get muted, and that's called dub. That's in the culture, that's called dub. And it's really just to kind of give the beat sometimes, or the rhythm break, to, emphasize something, or to accent something, if you will. And so I did that a couple times in here. My job was to really just keep the performance, and to let the musicians and the singer just be able to express how they want, and just to add my flair. Dub was actually created by engineers back in the day. It was their way of expressing how they heard it. So kind of like a engineer's cut, if you will. Right. So we're just gonna jump into the new start and let you hear the full complement of the track. Here we go.
Ooh, hey. Ooh, yeah. I speak peace into the midst of your storm, even though you're going through your struggles. Speak peace into the midst of your storm today. I speak peace into the midst of your storm, even though you're going through your struggles. Speak peace into the midst of your storm today. You are wondering what is going on. Well, the pressures of life make it seem so hard. The little bit of money you still carry go grocery, can't stretch. And to make the matters worse, you have just lost your job. Well, I speak peace into the midst of your storm, even though you're going through your struggles. Speak peace into the midst of your storm today. Well, I speak peace into the midst of your storm.
So there you have it. Go check the song out. It's on iTunes, everywhere you stream music. And thanks again for joining. That's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for joining. See you next time.